Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Okay, here we are. I'm Johnny on the Spot, science reporter for the Real News Network. And if you remember, last week we had another one of those raids and we had to escape. So today we're coming to you from a cave in Argentina. Which cave? We're not going to tell you. However, we're going to go back and finish the videos that we started last week. And the inspiration for what we were doing was this one posting on the Deplorable Science Climate Science blog, or realscience.com, run by Tony Heller. And he posts some videos where he was highlighting how the data at the RSS was being adjusted. Here was the original, as you can see, and then it was adjusted so that the RSS was adjusted upward, but the University of Alabama Huntsville satellites remained down here. And so when we saw that, we thought, well, we've got to look into that. That seems almost unbelievable. All right. Tony Heller also made a video on this. It's called 100% Reliable Climate Predictions, Pulling Back the Curtain on Junk Science, realclimatescience.com. So that's where you can go and watch this video. We wanted to go and verify that what he was saying was true. All right. And so watch some of the earlier videos where we covered some of the earlier stuff. But we're going to go to the RSS site now and take a look and see exactly what he's talking about. Here is the RSS, Remote Sensing Systems. Now these are satellites that measure the temperature. And if you scroll down, you will see that lo and behold, this is what Tony Heller was talking about. Here is now the chart of the temperature. And as you can see, it is the current temperature, 1, is now just simply a black line. It no longer has the confidence bands around it. It's simply a line. And this line is barely inside the predicted values of the climate models. So far, everything Tony Heller said is true. They've removed the bands and they've adjusted the data to put it up inside of the range of the models. Now, what we found really interesting was Tony Heller pointed out that you can get onto the Wayback Machine and go and double check to see how edited this was. Isn't that what you were telling me, Professor Unknown?
Yes. Don't you concur?
Professor Backflip, are you agreeing with that? You thought this time machine idea was really a fascinating concept.
I did.
All right, well, let's go see. So what you can do is you can actually go to the Wayback Machine, and here it is. It's up here called the Wayback Machine, and you can go and you can take a look for yourself that is what it used to be. Now, as you can see, this in the past, they had air bands, right? And the average of this would have been well outside of the range of the models. And so what Tony Heller was pointing out was they just simply used the upper band of the confidence interval, which we know only 0.5% of observations would have fallen. But they're saying that is the range that's normal.
Yes. What are your thoughts on this home run?
That's one of the most bizarre science things I've ever heard of. Don't you think, home run?
Yes, definitely.
I mean, that almost seems like fraud to me.
Yes.
Okay, and so what you can flip back and forth. Here's one. This is current. Here's the Wayback Machine. Okay, you can see here no air bands, and inside the forecast area. With the bands, the average would have fallen outside the band. So that's really suspicious.
Very suspicious.
It also doesn't strike me as the type of work you'd expect from NASA, right?
No, it doesn't strike me as it. NASA line?
I mean, these are people that put men on the moon, and they're sitting there playing around with data like that. This doesn't
fraudulating the data?
Fraudulating. That's a new word, actually. We need to put that in the Webster's Dictionary. Fraudulating.
Fraudulating the word.
I like that one. Okay, now what you said that you were playing around on the you were saying you were at the RSS site and you found something even more interesting, right? You were saying that if you look, not all layers of the atmosphere show warming. But you were also telling me that CO2 is 400 parts per million all the way up to 70 kilometers.
Yep.
So doesn't it make sense that if CO2 is equally distributed through the atmosphere, it would cause warming throughout the atmosphere? Doesn't that seem logical? I mean, if CO2 is there, do the laws of physics cease to exist in different layers of the
No, the
atmosphere?
laws of physics still exist.
I mean, I would think that CO2 would absorb long-wave infrared radiation between 13 and microns, no matter where it is.
Yeah, I would think it would go.
I mean, is there like special CO2 molecules elsewhere in the atmosphere? I don't think so.
I mean, ask Nazca.
Yeah, that's Nazca. Okay, well, let's take a look here. You were telling me that if you look at here, now once again, this is the RSS site, and this is, you can tell where you are, you're down at the lower, and this is called the lower troposphere, okay? And you're showing that, sure enough, these satellite with the adjustments show a little bit of warming. But as you said, as you start to creep up in the, see how, as you change these locations in the atmosphere, see how it's changing?
Yeah,
see how this
tilting
line is
downward.
changing? Yeah, it's beginning to tilt downward. Now look at that. Look
But it's
at,
just flat.
now wait a minute. That's exactly what you were telling me, and I didn't believe you. And sure enough, if you go to the RSS site that you just demonstrated to me, you can show that it looks to me like the upper troposphere. This is about what, the height of Mount Everest?
Yeah, just about.
Oh, so this is almost what's called the tropopause, I think. Was she saying that?
Yes.
Okay, so you're telling me that up there, there's no warming at all.
Yeah,
and yet it
no
has 400
warming.
parts per million CO2?
Yes, that's 400 parts per million
Wow.
CO2, and there's no warming.
Whoa! What's this? That looks
Cooling?
like this is the tropopause. You're right between the troposphere and the stratosphere, and that to me shows clear global cooling.
Clear, very, very
Wait a
clear.
minute, wait a minute. You're telling me that NASA has data showing that the tropopause is showing global cooling as CO2 is increased?
Yes.
That clearly says it starts at 1980 and it shows cooling since that. Now, you were telling me that CO2 is the same level concentration up there as it is at the surface, right?
Yes.
But that layer wouldn't be subjected to the urban heat island effect, now would it?
No, it would not.
Wow,
And
that's
as you get
even-
higher,
that-
it gets
oh.
less effective.
So what you're telling me theoretically is this warming could be due to the urban heat island effect,
And not CO2.
and as we go higher, and that impact diminishes because there are no big cities on top of Mount Everest, are there?
Not
Nope.
that I know of.
No, neither do I. Okay, now let's see what these other ones are. Clearly, that's cooling. That's cooling. That's cooling. Clearly, it shows to me there's a lot of cooling throughout the atmosphere. So how in the world would CO2 cause warming in some areas and not others?
It makes no sense.
It would be
Yeah,
very
that's
weird
real
if it
suspicious.
did.
So what you're telling me is you want viewers of this to start a classroom rebellion. You want them to go to the RSS website, and you want them to start asking their teachers tough questions.
Yes.
Put 'em on the spot,
never
right?
stop asking your teachers
All right.
questions.
Well, let's wrap it up for this one. Let's like, share, subscribe, and comment. Backflip, you got anything to say?
Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss the next cryptic message, and don't be afraid to speak the truth.
Not simply obey, right? We're not here to teach you to obey. We're here to teach you to rebel, because in a free society, speaking the truth should never be dangerous.
Yes. That's a Super Sleuth signing off.
You see, the climate change alarmists are not just scientifically wrong and often scientifically illiterate. They are insane.